First, we've taken the gropius.txt file and the images folder and placed them in the project 2 folder. And so there's images in the images folder. We won't work with them today, but we will work with them in the future. And so I wanted to make sure that they were there. Okay. We go to our application that we are using to work, and you'll see in the upper left that under Project 2, you can see the images folder, the images, and the gropius.txt file. And I've double-clicked on the gropius.txt file so it is open. And what I'm going to do first is go to, let's see if I can get this up here so it shows. It might show, might not. Go to File, Save As. And so I'm going to take this gropius.txt file and I'm going to change the file extension to HTML. If those extensions weren't visible, you wouldn't maybe be able to tell whether you had the gropius.txt file or the gropius.html file, and that could be important. And I go save. And so we now see that we have a gropius HTML file, and here's our gropius HTML file. And actually, I'm going to go over to Chrome, and I've opened new share, Google Chrome, share. And so I've opened up the gropius file, the gropius.html file, and you can see that all we have is a mass of continuous text. Because if we go back, here, you'll see that there is no HTML coding in this document. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through this document a little bit to see what information is here. We have a photo that's going to go in here at the top, and we have a caption. We have the name of the person. We have the dates that they lived, where they were born, where they died. There is a not real phone number here, and we won't be coding that today. There's also an email address, there's a web address. There's an overall heading, biography, and some information, rough information. And then there's some subheads. There's early career, there's Bauhaus, late career in the US. Okay. We have some indications that there could be, yes. Okay. The nice thing about this particular program is that it gives us some indications of things that could be done better. And we go down here towards the bottom. Oops. We have projects, and then we have a list of items. And so you just learned out a little bit about how to code lists. So we'll code that list. We actually have 2 levels of subheads. We have biography, and then subheads underneath them. We have projects, And then we have detailed projects, some subheads under that. I may not do this correctly the first time through, but we can see what we can do. What we're going to do is we're going to spend a little time coding this to break it up so that it shows up properly on a web page. So we're going to start at the top. I'm going to use a tag here that you haven't experienced yet, but it's a fairly simple tag, so we're going to use that to so that we don't have to go back and recode it later, though that might not be such a bad thing. Anyway, so first thing we have this caption, and there is an HTML indicator for captions, and it's called FIGCAPTION. And then it gives me the closed version of that, which I'm going to Command X. I'm going to cut and I'm going to paste Command V, or you can use clear the edit commands. You can cut it, paste it like that. Okay, so that's our caption. Then Walter Gropius, that's going to be our H1 because it's our most important headline. Command X, Command V, or Control X, Control V. Then we're going to set this up. I'm going to go P, and I'm going to go strong. Command X, Command V. And then I'm going to go new share. Well, let's see. First of all, save. And I'm going to go back to Google Chrome. And if I hit refresh, you'll see that we've started to break this up. And this is all in a continuous line, even though there are line breaks in the text file. So we're going back to here, and you learned about the break character. So I'm going to go BR. So less than BR greater than. And I can, in fact, well, less than BR greater than. Like that. And I save it. And I'm going to go back to Chrome. And I'm going to hit refresh. And you'll see that these are now, they break at the end of each line because we've added that code. Okay. Biography should be the next level. So that's going to be an H2 instead of an H1. We'll do it this way. X, B. Then we have some copy under there, which will be a P element. Oop. P. Command X, Command V. And you see that we have that the codes are always gray, less than and greater than signs. With the code tag itself being in blue. If I were to delete this one, Command X. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to do it this way then. H2. Really? Okay. Normally, I would think that this would give me an error, so I'm not exactly certain what's happening right now. I can see I've got an error right there. Okay. All right. Early career is a level underneath biography. So I'm going to make that an H3 and X, Command V, less than P greater than Command X, Command V. Bauhaus would also be an H3. And it helps that I know what this text is about. Again, Command X, Command V, Command Save. Then I'm going to go back to Google Chrome. And I'm going to hit refresh. And so we've started to break this text up. Okay. H3. Less than P greater than. Those of you who might have taken a graphic design course, you might notice a similarity between these codes and the styles that you can create in, say, InDesign or Illustrator that allow you to do a very simple piece of coding, but actually does very complex things. In this case, the H elements, the H tags, are various sizes of bold and various sizes of bold type. And the P elements are paragraphs that then have a line space after them. And that is actually built into the browser. And here I'm going to use a less than small greater than, because these are not as important. Okay, project. We're going to go back to the H2. And X, V. And now we have a list of items. And in fact, I'm going to do a very rough coding of the dates as well. Okay, so if we have a list of items, we have a choice between doing an unordered list and an ordered list. An ordered list is going to have numbers at the beginning. An unordered list is going to have bullets. In this case, I'm going to do an unordered list that'll have bullets. So we start off with less than UL for unordered list, and then greater than. And I'm going to copy this, Command X, delete it, and I'm going to place it all the way at the bottom of the list of items. Okay. And I'm also going to hit return right here. So when you have a series of coded items that are within another coded item, what we do is that we actually indent these items that are within another item. That way it makes it really easy when this is all coded to look at this and go, okay, here's the beginning tag, here's the end tag, they're both there. If you don't do this indenting, then it's much more difficult to tell where you're coding, where your elements begin and end. So LI. So then within either the unordered list or the ordered list, we have our items. So the items are coded as less than LI for list. And we have one at the beginning and one at the end. We also have time. I'm not going to go through the full coding for this. And so time is an inline item. And so it doesn't cause additional breaks. If I now go back, save, I now go back to Google Chrome, share, hit refresh. You'll see that I'm starting to see that this is smaller. This is a larger subhead. This one is, we've got one bulleted item that's been set up. You can't see the difference in the time. There is no time style. We could go back at a future point with CSS and tell all times to look a specific way, but we're not going to do that at this moment. We might not do that at all. Okay, so I've got one bulleted item, so I need to go through and do the rest of the bulleted items. X. if I hold my shift key down and do the right arrow on my keyboard, it actually selects those characters, which is probably easier than using your cursor. Command X and B. Shift, right arrow, Command X, Command V. Okay, next. I'm going to do time a little differently. I'm going to copy time. Copy, Command paste. X, Command V, Command V. Oh, that's interesting. It behaves a little better if I have the slash at the beginning. And it's much simpler to just delete the V than to have to deal with all the rest of that work. Okay, and then I've got some elements here that aren't indented. So I'm going to take and tab, 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 tab. And I tab those elements over. We can now see the beginning of the UL, the end of the UL, and it's all very straightforward. Okay, detailed projects is going to be an H2, an H3, rather. Command X, Command B, and then the items themselves are going to be H4, Command X, Command V. I'm going to make this a P and then make this a strong. Actually, just for fun. Actually, I forgot. This is in fact not this. This is actually another figure caption. So there'll be a series of photo captions right underneath the image or right underneath the name of the thing. So I'm going to go less than big caption. And then I'm going to close the figure caption. And it automatically put it in for me. So, okay. Then we go back to creating P elements. Well, let's see. Let's save this. Go back to Google Chrome. Hit refresh. And so we see that we bulleted all these items. We've got projects, then detailed projects, then Bauhaus is smaller. Figure caption at this point isn't specifically formatted to look differently, but will in the future. Okay. So hold the shift, select Command X, Command V, Command X, Command V. Again, here we're going to have a small Command X, Command V. H4. Command X, Command V. Okay, and then we have right. I'm going to go back up here because I forgot time. Command X, Command V. Go back down here. We've got a P element. Command X, Command V. Ah, no, that's wrong. Figure caption. F big caption. And then this is, we need to change this to be slash big caption. Yeah. Okay. And this is time. X, Command V. I want that time to be before the comma. E, shift forward, or shift, Command X, Command V. Again, small. And technically that is also time. Okay. All right. We also have a block quote. So we're going to mark this as a block quote. Command X, Command V. We also have a date. So time. Okay. And I would be tempted to add an actual break here, just to push the attribution down below the rest of the quote. Oh, in which case, no, that won't work. Well, maybe it'll work. Okay, well, let's see if it worked. So I'm going to save this. And I'm going to go to Chrome. And I'm going to hit refresh. And there's the block quote. So that'll do for the moment. We might need to do it a little differently. It's possible we want the block quote to surround the block quote and then mark the two as paragraphs within that. Huh. Okay. So that was something that we might want to work on a little bit later. You share. So one of the things, so unlike mathematics and other sciences, how we do this, how we code all of this, there is not necessarily a right answer to how we do things. So sometimes we get to play around and do and experiment with ways. But what you want to try to do within your document is be consistent within your document so that some other coder going back later to work on your project can figure out or can then be consistent with what you did. If you sometimes use a paragraph tag for your captions and sometimes use a block quote for your captions and sometimes use the figure caption for your captions, then it's confusing for somebody else trying to work on your work after you. And for that matter, you may end up wanting to clean it up yourself sometime in the future. Okay, I'm going to go back and check. So I'm working with an H4 here. Shift, right arrow, Command X, Command V. Okay, big caption. Shift, right arrow, Command X, Command V. Time, Command X, Command V. And I'm just going to do this and delete the slash in front of that one. E, Command X, Command V. Command X, Command V, and then small Command X, Command V, and we have another time in here, so time, Command X, Command V. Okay. So, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go back to Chrome, and I'm going to hit refresh. And your file should look like this. I bring it in closer, you'll see that everything reflows. Okay. All right. And we haven't learned We haven't learned CSS yet. There's some ways we can use CSS to troubleshoot this project and make sure that things are actually excuse me. Then we can see how things are actually, whether things are actually coded even more accurately. But this will serve as a good practice. So this is your project for this week, is to go through and code this site the way I just showed you. And then you want to compress the file and post it to the project. Okay. Have a good week, and I'll see you again next week.